Very good morning to all open elective students. In the last session, we have discussed and you have studied the various types of bank deposits, namely savings deposit, recurring deposit, current deposit, and fixed deposit. Correct? And in that today's class, I'll focus on the differences between saving bank account and the current account, and I will also tell you something about the other types of deposit. To mention few: time deposit, demand deposit, casa deposit. Then I think you have heard about NRE account and all, NRI account, all these things. And at the end, I will also tell something about the deposit insurance in India. So all these things we will discuss in the today's class. So I gave the menu for the today's class. Well, my dear students, now let us study about the differences between saving bank account and the current account. The first difference between the saving bank account and the current account is with regard to the basic objective. The basic objective of saving bank account is to enable the customer save his or her liquid assets and also earn money on that savings. The savings bank accounts are preferred by individuals and provide liquidity for private and small business sometimes. On the other hand, the basic objective of current account is basically a transactional account which is preferred by the business people, businessmen, traders, merchants. The basic objective of the current account is to provide a flexible payment method to the business people and to the business entities. These payment methods include the special arrangements such as overdraft facility, accommodation of standing orders, direct debits, offset mortgage facilities. So all these the objective of the current account. So this is the first difference between the saving bank account and the current account. The number one, the first difference is with regard to objective. The basic objective of saving bank account is different. The basic objective of current account is different. Is it clear? Well, now come to the second difference with regard to saving bank account and current account is all about the transactions. So as far as transaction is concerned, usually saving accounts have low transactions while current accounts have large transactions. So as far as transaction is concerned, there is a difference with regard to saving bank account and the current account. In case of saving bank account, you can see the low transactions, small amount transactions, number of transactions also very less. However, in current account, you can see the large transactions, big amount transactions. So this is all about second difference between SB account and current account. Now, I want the third difference with regard to the SB account and current account is about handling. The savings account involve the personal handling of assets, while current accounts are aimed to make the account holder free of personal handling of liquid funds. The current account facility helps the business to run without the hurdles, without the problems due to non-availability of funds and short-term deficits. So this is all about handling. So saving account involves personal handling of assets, However, current account holder are free of personal handling of liquid funds. And the fourth difference as far as interest income. The fourth difference as far as interest income. Generally, the current account do not earn interest. The saving accounts earn around you know 3% interest at present in India. Again, it differ from banks to bank. So on an average, I told 3%. Now, this interest rate is now, you all know that the interest rate is now deregulated in India. I mean, banks themselves define what rate of interest they should pay to their customer. Please note that in case of death of the current account holder, his legal heirs are paid interest at the rates applicable to saving banks deposit from the date of death till the date of settlement. Please note that in case of death of the current account holder, his legal heirs are paid interest at the rates applicable to SB account, saving bank account deposit from the date of death to till the date of settlement. So generally, current account do not earn interest. ಯಾವ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ in case of death of the current account holder, ಅವರ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಆಗ ಅವರು SB ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಅದು till the settlement of the accounts. Now come to the fifth difference. As far as overdrafts are concerned, there is a difference with regard to the overdrafts as far as saving bank account and the current account. My dear students, as discussed, saving accounts have no overdraft facility. However, current accounts have the same facility. The money can be borrowed for short term and to be paid back with interest. So this facility is available for the current account holders. However, for SB account, no overdraft facility. Well, the last difference as far as minimum balance is concerned, because in the last class we have studied in detail different types of deposits. In that you have studied saving banks account, current account, correct? So sixth difference is already have discussed is minimum balance. Usually or generally, saving accounts need a minimum balance in the bank to keep the account active. I think in the last class you studied it is not applicable to frill account, correct? However, no frill accounts require either nil or low minimum balance to be maintained. So frill account no frill account there is no minimum balance. But other than the no frill account, definitely requires minimum balance in the account. And if you want checkbook, you have to keep more amount as minimum balance. However, in current accounts, there are no minimum balance requirements. Current account ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ minimum balance ಇನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. So these are the six, the differences between saving bank account and the current account. So there are, you can note down, you can write some more differences. If you feel that, if you want to add some more point, definitely. Well, now I'll focus on some other terms like time deposit, demand deposit, CASA deposit, NRE account. and NRIs, are designated in 6 currencies. What are those 6 currencies? And at the end, I will tell you something about, briefly, I'll tell you the deposit insurance in India. Well, now I'll speak about, time deposits. When money is deposited with a fixed tenure, it cannot be withdrawn before its maturity fixed at a particular time. If your tenure is 1 year, you cannot withdraw the money within that 1 year. Such deposits are called time deposits or term deposits. The most common example of time deposit is, the fixed deposit. And what you'll keep the deposit for a fixed time, fixed year. Correct ಅಲ್ಲ? 5 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ the tenure is 5 years. So 5 years time deposit, 5 years term deposit, 5 years fixed deposit. Everything same. No, all time deposits are eligible for interest payments. Interest rate depend upon the tenure and the amount of deposit. This rate, varies from bank to bank. The interest rate is generally higher for a time deposit of longer tenure. Well, on the basis of their nature, my dear students, please make a note here. On the basis of their nature, the time deposit may be of 3 types. What are those 3 types classification of deposit on the basis of their nature? So again, the time deposits are classified in 3 categories on the basis of their nature. Number 1 is fixed deposit. In case of fixed deposit, a fixed rate of interest is paid at fixed and in regular intervals. This is about number 1, fixed deposit. And the second one is reinvestment deposit. Interest is compounded quarterly. Interest is compounded quarterly. 3 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೊಮ್ಮೆ compound ಆಗ್ತದೆ and paid on maturity along with the principal amount of the deposit. Interest is compounded quarterly. 3 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ interest add ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ and it is paid on the maturity along with the principal amount of the deposit. In the flexi deposit amount, in saving deposit amount accounts, in the flexi deposit amount in savings deposit accounts, beyond a fixed limit is automatically converted into term deposit. This is the second one. And third one is recurring deposit. ಇದು 3 ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ? ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್, ರೀಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್, ರಿಕರಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್. ಯಾವುದಿದು? Comes under the time deposit on the basis of their nature. Now, recurring deposit, I think you have studied in the last session, RD. Fixed amount is deposited at regular intervals for a fixed term, and the repayment of principal and the accumulated interest is made at the end of the term. Correct? These deposits are usually targeted at persons who are salaried or receive the other regular income. A recurring deposit can usually be opened for any period from 6 months to 120 months. Further, banks also provide a combination of demand and time deposit in the form of various products. For example, examples of such products include recurring RD accounts, flexible RD accounts, multiplier FDs, special term deposit account. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ತಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ultimately it is related to RD account. RD account is ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೂಪಗಳು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೆಸರುಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Well, now next I'll move on to the demand deposits. Demand deposit. If the funds deposited can be withdrawn by the customer means by the depositor or account holder at any time without any advance notice to a bank, it is called demand deposit. ನೀವು ಹಣ ಇಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ನೀವು ವಿಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರು ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್. One can withdraw the funds from these accounts any time by issuing a check, using a ATM, or by using the withdrawal forms at the bank branches. The money as demand deposit is liquid and can be encashed at any time. The ownership of demand deposits can be transferred from one person to another person via checks or electronic transfer. Here, there is no fixed term to maturity for demand deposits. The demand deposits may or may not pay interest to the depositor. Please make a point here. The demand deposit may or may not pay interest to the depositor. For example, while we get an interest on the saving accounts, no interest is paid on current accounts. Similarly, there are two types of demand deposits. ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ there are two types. ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಾಗಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್. A current account is always a demand deposit, and the bank is obliged to pay the money on demand. The current account bear no interest, and they account for the smallest fraction among the current savings and the term deposit. They account for the smallest fraction among the current savings and term deposit. They provide the convenient operation facility to the individual or to the firm. The cost to maintain the accounts is high, and bank asks the customer to keep sometime minimum balance to recover the fees. Similarly, the saving accounts ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಾಗ saving deposits are subject to restrictions on the number of withdrawals as well as on the amount of withdrawal during any specified period. ತಿಂಗಳಿಗಿಷ್ಟೇ, ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ವಿಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಸ್, they may impose. Further, minimum balances may be prescribed in order to offset the cost of minimizing or cost of maintaining and servicing such deposits. Savings deposits are deposits that accrue, ACCRUE, that accrue interest at a fixed rate set by the commercial banks. Well, now I'll move on to CASA, CASA deposits. What is this CASA? CASA deposit refers to, very simple my dear students, current account saving account deposits. Current account saving account deposits. CA current account, SA saving account. So CA ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟು, SA ಅಂದರೆ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ ಅಕೌಂಟು, ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಕಾಸಾ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಏನಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನಿಮಗೀಗ, ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಸೊ on an average, as an average, the CASA deposit are low interest deposits for the banks compared to other types of the deposits. So banks tend to increase the CASA deposit, and for this they offer various services such as salary account to companies, and encouraging merchants to open current account and use their cash management facilities. The bank is high CASA ratio. CASA means CASA. ಇದು ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? CASA deposit as percentage in the total deposits. You know, the bank is high CASA ratio are in a more comfortable position than the banks with the low CASA ratios. ಈ CASA ratio ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. Banks are more comfortable. Banks financial position is more comfortable ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. So which are more dependent on the term deposits for their funding and are vulnerable to interest rate shocks in the economy plus lower spread they earn. So higher the CASA percentage ratio, that indicates the comfortable position of the banks. Fine. Well, now come to the NRO, NEE, NERA, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೆಸರಿದೆ, FCNA. ಏನಿದಲ್ಲ ಹಾಗಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು? There are several kinds of accounts available for non-resident Indians. NRI, non-resident Indians. NRI andre persons of Indian origin and overseas citizens of India. There are different categories again. The number one is NRO. NRO ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ non-resident ordinary accounts. NRO account ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ non-resident ordinary accounts. Non-resident ordinary accounts. Any person resident outside of India can open this account. Any person resident outside of India can open this account. Normally, when a resident becomes a non-resident, his domestic rupee account gets converted into the NRO account. NRO account. This helps the NRI to get his credits which accrue in India. For example, rent or interest from investments. NRE ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು NRRA. NRRA ಮೊದಲು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ನಾನು NRE. NRE ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್. ಇನ್ನು ಎರಡನೇ ಹೇಳುದು ನಾನೀಗ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಹೇಳುದು ನಾನೀಗ NRRA, ನಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ರುಪಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ನಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ರುಪಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ಡಬಲ್ R, ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ರುಪಿ. This account was introduced as NRE scheme in 1970s. It is a rupee account and the NRI can remit money to India from the funds abroad. This means that the depositor is exposed to the currency rate risk. ಅವರ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಆಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ರೇಟ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್. Okay, it's a rupee account. Here NRI can remit money to India from the funds abroad. Since he is remitting funds from abroad, this means that the depositor is exposed to the currency rates risk. ಅರ್ಥಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? ಇನ್ನು FCNR, foreign currency non-resident account. FCNR, foreign currency non-resident account. Foreign currency non-resident account, account bank or FCNRB ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. FCNRB ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ foreign currency non-resident, I'll repeat, foreign currency non-resident account bank or FCNRB within bracket B was firstly introduced in 1993. It replaced the existing FCNR-A FCNR-A scheme. This account is opened by the NRIs. The account opened by the NRIs, and with the six designated currencies. Only with the six designated currencies. ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು US dollar, USD, ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಬ್ರಿಟನ್ ಪೌಂಡ್, GBP, ಯೂರೋ, EUR, ಜಪನೀಸ್ ಯೆನ್, JPY, ಜಪನೀಸ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೆನಡಿಯನ್ ಡಾಲರ್, CAD, CAD, ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯನ್ ಡಾಲರ್, AUD. Okay, and please note that FCNR account is opened only in the form of term deposit and not in the form of demand deposit. Please make a note. Please note that FCNR account is opened only in the form of term deposit and not in the form of demand deposit. The term deposit, the term is from 1 year to 5 years. Interest is paid on maturity in the same currency of the deposit. For deposits of tenure up to 1 year, simple interest is paid, and for the deposit of tenure beyond 1 year, the interest is compounded at half yearly. The maturity proceeds inclusive of interest is fully so they receive the principal amount and full interest. The banks, may decide the interest rates after the approval from the RBI and within the limits fixed by the RBI. They cannot go beyond that. If a person has NRE account and wishes to transfer to FCNR, it is permissible without prior approval of RBI. Well, now I'll come to the last small concept: deposit insurance in India. I'll not take much of your time. In India, the bank deposits are covered under the insurance scheme provided by DICGC, full capital letter DICGC. Okay, full form ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ: ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್. ಡಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟು, ಐ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್, ಜಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್. So Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation is a subsidiary of RBI, Reserve Bank of India. It was established on 15th July 1978. 15th July 1978. When a bank covered by DICGC fails or undergoes liquidation or is merged with another bank, the DICGC pays the amount due to depositors via the officially appointed liquidator in a time-bound manner. Okay, so the last, deposit insurance in India is not much important from the examination point of view. Okay, so with this I will wind up today's class. So next week onwards, compulsorily minimum 2 students have to present your seminar. We'll go as per the registration number. Okay, so till then, have a nice time. Thank you very much. You can ask any doubts over a phone, through WhatsApp, through email. So it is left to you. Okay, thank you very much.